Okay,
All
we're
right, we're
live.
live. We're live. The Savage
Yo,
Brushstroke. Yep. Hello, Facebook. Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are all doing as well as you can do out there. Right now, this is the Savage Brushstroke. I'm Precious Gorgeous, Ralph Jean Pierre, and I'm with my brother,
Raleigh.
my Black God Pantheon brother,
What's
Mandella
up?
Eskia,
Hey,
aka Black Zeus.
how's it going?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Just trying to get all my ducks in a row here. But I want to go into let me set the scene. So Mandela and I have known each other like I want to say almost 12 years now, maybe 11,
Yeah,
11 years,
yeah,
and
like that.
we've been making music together all this time. We were introduced through your cousin Branson Belchi, who I met in college at SCAD, who is also an artist. He's a great designer and illustrator. And Mandela and I met
Amazing.
on New Year's Eve, and we make music together. We're in Black Eyed Pantheon together, and Della's just been releasing record the last few years, just busting niggas in the head with just these great records. Most recently, he released Bury Me in Gold Volume 2 last April,
Yes, sir.
and yeah, so just a great hip hop of Harlem. What what did I miss? What did I miss in there in that introduction? Is there something?
Well, the my I don't know if it was on my side or your side. It was acting a little funny, so it froze for a little bit because I had to turn my Bluetooth off, so I didn't hear everything. I just know that you said that I made the album, and I had made the album.
Okay. Okay. What phrasing are you using nowadays to talk about the kind of music you do and the kind of artist that you are? Do you compare yourself to other artists, or do you have like certain phrasing or description that you use, or what do
Uh,
you use to?
I'll be rapping. I mean,
Uh-huh.
I think I guess the best way to describe it is legacy music because it's very much connected to me and where I come from and how I was raised. But I think that's almost everybody's music if you're making that type of music, you know?
Mm,
Multifaceted. I don't consider myself a conscious artist, but some people may. Um, I just make music
okay.
and experience. And for my very unique worldview, I think. I mean, it's unique, but it's not unique. But it's unique because nobody's gonna say it the way I say it. So, um,
Okay.
I guess revolutionary trap, but it's not all trap. I guess it's just like legacy music. That's what I would like to call it. I'm a legacy artist.
How much? Because I think you come from a very unique background in that you're when you say legacy, you're connected to a family and a heritage of Black American revolutionaries and Pan Africanists, and you come from literally not even a lineage. You're the
Yeah.
you-
My
you're the seventh.
yes, technically, yes, because um
Yeah.
it was acting funny again. I'm gonna have to move out this room, but for now we're good. I'm the youngest of seven because I have no, am I bugging? Yeah, because I have five brothers and I have an older sister who lives in
Hmm.
Atlanta.
Hmm.
So I'm the youngest of
Yeah,
seven.
and all brothers with like strong personalities and
Yes,
came up under your folks who had very, I think, a very big influence on you, and your parents are very influential.
in the
I
community.
want to say, yeah, Harlem activist group and Harlem Black intelligentsia, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
all of that shit.
yeah. So it's a very particular upbringing. I mean, it's yeah. Um, So I want to just go ahead and get into what the two pieces that you brought today. So this is a podcast where we talk to artists about. Oh, now I'm bugging. Now I'm bugging out on my end.
No,
This is a show we talk about.
I have terrible
We
service.
talk about
Yeah. All right.
yeah. We talk to artists about what influences them, about their influences. So to maybe the piece that's not from a peer to start with
A piece
that
that's
you want to
not
talk
from here.
Yeah, that is not Peter.
So interestingly enough, I was thinking about it, right? I think, I was gonna say DMX because that's like a big inspiration to me, like just like this specific song, look through my eyes, see what I see, walk out, be what I be. That particular record is very important to me just as an artist in general, but I'm actually not gonna choose that one because definitely a part of who I am as an artist, but I wanted to choose something a little bit more new.
Shout out the dog. Shout out DMX.
And I actually, because I thought about it, there's a record on this Griselda album, Cruiserweight Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I said I wanted to choose that one is because I've been thinking about this for a while, and just about how all of the different ways to rap, they kind of all mesh together if you know how to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been actually like doing a lot of experimentation with like using double time on boom bap beats and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually very interesting, like just the way it meshes in there. And then I heard that song, the double time flow, and it's really slow, boom bappy, New York sounding beat, and that was very inspiring to me because it was kind of like when I heard it, I was like, oh shit, I'm doing the right thing then, because he just did it and he put it up. And so that was very like almost like a moment of being assured that I was going in the right direction. I don't know if that really answers your question or if that's like
No, that's perfect because it gets into this thing I want to talk to. Like, this podcast or this interview show, whatever this is for artists of all kinds. But like, we could really get into some rapper talk right now because I feel like we're both, especially in this moment in time where like the Griseldas and the Freddie Gibbs and the Action Bronsons and the Boldy Jameses and the Rock Marcianos, were like this whole kind of like not only just lyrical rap, but this very New York lyrical rap. I mean, Freddie Gibbs not from New York, but this kind of very grimy, grungy, gritty, but very lyrically dense, and Radamez and Makami and all these guys. This style is really in the fore right now, and I think it has a particular effect on artists both like you, who were not street. We both pride ourselves on how well we can rap, but we're also, I think, two people who pride themselves on song making, and not just like throwing 300 bars in every song, but like really thinking about the structure and the movement of a song and bringing people through an idea and an emotion. But like, when we first met, we were just doing freestyle, just like however many bars we did, so I think we're two people who want to in our pen, but we're pulled in a lot of directions. We're pulled in like, what is the New York? There you go against it. Are you a lyricist, or are you just a guy who raps for songs? Do you make songs, and does just ask me if you need to, if I need to repeat anything. But are you a guy who makes songs? Is this all these? Are you conscious or not, or are you just rapping to rap? Like we're constantly pulled in all these directions. So, what is Griselda? This whole movement, and maybe for that song in particular, or anything? What do they kind of clarify for you what your path is, or do they add a wrinkle that now you have to go, okay, era, I still got to figure out something, or does it just help you go, okay, I'm going in the right direction?
Actually, I think they kind of clarify a path because it's like for the past 10 years, the type of shit that they were doing, like nobody was really paying it. Like, I guess it was kind of popular, but not really, And so now, like, there's a space for that. But it's also just like this idea, like you don't just have to do one thing, like because they could easily come out, do that type of shit, and be like, "Yo, fuck all this mumble rap shit," but they don't do that. They even like embrace some of the style, that even like the way that the rhymes or the way the flows and shit like that. So for me, that's good because I'm pretty sure we're all probably all around the same age too. I don't think I'm any older than Benny or Conway or those dudes. They might be probably around the same. So for me, it's definitely assuring and it's helpful to see people like that doing it. And it's not like I listen to them a whole lot, but I just remember hearing that and being like, oh shit, that's what I've been telling niggas, you could do that.
Yeah. Right. Huh. Yeah, it's such an interesting
rap. The type of shit they're talking about real street shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know.
Wait, say that again.
I was being silly. I said I don't know, but I do know at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's very interesting for me. It's a very interesting time we both find ourselves in because, like, yeah, we're both people who talk about observing the street life in a certain way, but like, we're both not rappers. And it's just an interesting time where I think everybody finds themselves in this middle where all of a sudden street rap has really come roaring back in a way that I personally didn't expect, between drill, Chicago drill, Brooklyn drill, all the trap rappers that trap. I think trap is like even accelerated now.
Yeah.
And then all these kind of real moody, underground, dirty guys. For me, it's really been like, I was today for some reason I was watching some old Onyx videos, and I was just it reminded me of this era I came out of. Like, I feel like artists like been holding our breath all the way through the even through the Shiny Suit era, which was a lot of mafioso rap. It wasn't as hardcore as maybe the mid-90s, but a lot of mafioso rap. Then the early 2000s, flashy, glossy stuff, but it's still like, it's sort of emerging, like, because you have Cash Money that's leading that charge, Nelly, who's leading that charge, but it's kind of like Lil Wayne and Kanye and Andre are just emerging this thing that then really comes to light when you get Drake, Cudi, Wale, J. Cole, Kendrick, that it's like, oh, these are kind of just regular dudes talking about their life. Like, and so that was here for a minute, but now we're still kind of trying to box our way in. And that door seems to me like it's like closing or changing, of like, what is the regular Joe? What does the normal guy rap about these days?
I don't know if the door ever closes at all. It's like, you make good music, and if you're true to yourself, people are gonna fuck with it. Like, I don't think that door is ever gonna close. Because even when 50 and Drake and all these dudes came out, there were still motherfuckers doing street rap, and they were still selling records. You know, T.I. was like, those dudes weren't the hottest. They probably weren't selling as much as Drake, but Drake, you know what I mean? Drake be talking some tough shit too sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Basically, I think it's just really about just making the best music you can. And I also think there's is probably part of it that has to do with relationships too, but mostly I think it's that if your music is good, if you're writing about the shit you need to be writing about, if it's connected to you and people, you find a good way to give it to people, then you'll be good. But I don't think street rap ever really left. I think it's always been
for sure.
Because even the ever coming out in the last couple of years, like, I don't necessarily think Lil Uzi Vert is a street rapper, but he's talking about street shit in his songs. You know, it's connected.
What exactly, before we move on to the next piece, what exactly, because you already said one thing, which is like, so you hear these guys kind of adopting or embracing sort of more of a trap style, more of a modern style on this kind of throwback, boom bappy production. So technical level, you're saying that. Is there any other technical ideas that you're hearing for people like Griselda or Freddie Gibbs or wherever else you can think of who's of that ilk, who's doing sort of like more they're sort of in that crossroads between the modern rap and throwback stuff? Maybe you can even put Joey Badass in that group. What happened?
Cole does that. JID does that. I think Freddie Gibbs does that too very well. But
Mm-hmm.
Gibbs might just move the beat over to something a little bit more bouncy. But
And what else? What else do you think you're learning from people like them and Griselda and all? Do you think you're learning from those kind of artists? Because that's the thing that I want to do is like I very much am wary of like writing people off and not really listening and not studying them just because they don't do exactly what I do. I try to really go, okay, but if the music is good, they're doing something technically that I can learn. Whether that technique works for me or not is one thing, but if I can pull a technique from somebody who's far away from me, that's going to add a new dimension or shade to my style. I want to do that.
Yeah. So you mean like what are they using that I also connect with? Like as far as like,
yeah,
me it's really.
or
I think technically, like I've always been a really good rapper, and it also just reminds me of the way I used to rap when I was in high school. But then I also think what I like and what I get from them is like they find interesting different ways to write songs and tell stories, where it's not overly dramatic all the time. It's like they'll get a beat and then they'll rap over the beat, and it might not necessarily be a hook. It's just like kind of free form, but the pictures that they're painting in their verses kind of make it feel like it's a song, or it is a song, but they add that song part to it because the pictures are so vivid. You know what I'm saying? That it's like the pictures are really vivid. And so it's like, so what does that look like for me? Like when I'm writing songs and I'm talking about my father or shit like that, what does my pictures look like? Like, how do I make a song like that where I'm not overly doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that, but the song is in a verse. Like, how do you make a song that's a full song with just a verse? Imagery and how you use your pen. And so I think that's Freddie Gibbs. And then another thing I learned from watching them, Freddie Gibbs and those dudes, is just actually also how to pick beats that aren't like when I listen to like trap style stuff or stuff that I usually get from my producer Ivan and stuff, I kind of know how to figure out what I want from that. But when I hear boom bappy shit, I'm like, it was kind of hard for me to pick those type of beats because a lot of that shit is kind of, I don't necessarily like it. It doesn't do nothing for me. Like it's cool to rap over, but it's like I could put this shit on my album. But listening to them and hearing the way, they're producing the way they pick shit, it's just something there where it makes it easier for me to figure out, okay, this shit is hot. And this is why, because it has a groove and something to it. It's not hard to be hard. It has different elements inside of that. So I want that beat and I want that beat. And so, you know what I mean? Like, they're not just picking like just cheesy ass boom bappy shit with motherfuckers. Boom, 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 and they're using the same samples that motherfuckers always, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
There's a lot of things in there that I'm getting from that.
It's really a beautiful time. Like, even I was reluctant to check out that new Gangstar album, and I checked it out, and I was like, "Damn, this shit is really fire." Because I think it's like that Gangstar record. I really the last one that they I really thought it was fire because I think Primo really. I mean, I take my hat off to him because this entire time when it wasn't really his moment, he was still working and growing and making sure that he was remaining himself, but growing as Primo in that time. And learning what he could and learning and keeping what he could use and throwing away and working with a younger artist who, Royce is probably not that much younger than him, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like trying to work. And then when he was ready to drop this Gangstar album, I listened to it, I was like, this shit feels classic, but it also really feels like this moment. It doesn't feel like he tried to make a throwback album. It's like, it felt like he just tried to make a Gangstar album for 2019 or 2020, whenever it dropped. And that is so beautiful. I think that is the difference between is the difference that I wasn't getting from like somebody like a Troy Ave who's constantly talking about restoring the feeling. But it was like, yeah, I get that, but I don't want to go back. What is that feeling? What is that feeling now?
Yeah.
You know, what is those sounds and that tradition mean now? How is that carrying into this time as opposed to trying to take me back? Like I can't live in I can't live in the past. You know, I want to know, what does New York feel like right this second?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go on to the next the piece from Up Here that you wanted to talk about.
So that was hard for me because I kept thinking about different, and it has to be a musical piece, right? Or could it be?
No, it could be anything. It could be.
So it was hard because I kept thinking. I thought about 3 different pieces, and then I landed on one. So I'm just gonna talk about all 3, but I'm gonna land on one.
Okay.
Specific one. Talking in general because I watched this before. Is Chocolate Brown has this video called, I think the song is called Cherry. But I'm not 100% sure the shit when he's like, you feed me bullshit, and then you put that cherry on top, and he's sitting there, he's like, you know, he's a big dude, his titties out, he's robe on, the chick is feeding him food, and he's singing the song.
Yeah, he's pimping, he's straight pimping, straight decadent with it.
And I really like that because it's just like, that's it. If you know Chuck, like he's just a really cool, unassuming dude. I don't know if that's the word, but he's like very confident in him just being who he is.
Confident, yeah. There's a lot of confidence. I remember watching that video with you, and there's so much confidence in that. Just like this whole video is gonna be this one shot.
Yeah,
and I know it's gonna be interesting. That takes a lot of vision and confidence to do that.
And just about being comfortable in your own skin. And if you are, they can't say anything to you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you were to try to do that and not be confident in it, then people would shit on you. You know what I'm saying? They shit on you anyway. But if you're confident in it, it doesn't fucking matter. So that was the thing I thought about. Then there's also Merce has this record called Talk to I think it's Talk to Yourself or Talk to Myself. And I really like that one because just the introspection is really good. But it's also like, it's basically not the same record, but the same type of record as, what's that corny Logic record he had? We was talking about suicide. He's like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. But
you're asking the wrong dude. I don't know nothing about Logic.
You got a song like that's like 1-800. It's like the suicide thing. Right?
I don't think he's a bad dude, but the music is not for me.
But anyway, so it's like, she's basically doing a song where she's like encouraging people to, especially for women, to encourage love. Like that concept, if anybody else did it, it would probably be corny. But it's like very aggressive, but at the same time, very like sensual and comforting. And if you know her the way she raps, she can get aggressive. But she doesn't lose it, but she also is still like preaching.
She never gets aggressive in a way that I think, oh, she's trying to be a dude in some way. Like she's aggressive, and it sounds like her. It sounds there's a femininity to it, but it also, you know, she could bust your ass, but she's not trying to make you forget that she's a woman.
Yeah, it's balance in it. And so there was the thing about that. So it's like,
this is the second time we talked about Merce. We talked about Merce with Brooklish as well.
Yeah. So there's that. But I think, so then going through that, I finally landed on a record that I think is the most inspiring for me. And it's not even like something that I listen to over and over and over and over again, but it's just an inspiring record. O'Henny's song, God Is My Mama.
You talk about language, bro. Yes, go ahead.
That shit, that's the first record I've heard in years where I'm like, why didn't I think of that? You know what I mean? Because like, it's just like people lose family members and parents and they write songs about it, but it's usually the same type of shit, like homies and shit. And it's all good. Like some records are really strong in that, and then some records is like, oh, this is the record about the homie, right? Or my mom, the parents. But like, God Is My Mama. Like, how do you even, and then the way it's put together, like, how do you even, and that's my thing. And for like 2020, what I've been thinking about is like, nothing's new under the sun. It's really just about how you approach these topics. What does that mean for you? And having a very distinct voice. And that's what I think all of that, like the Merce record is like that. But that O'Henny, God Is My Mother, God Is My Mama, just like, how do you even?
And is it the concept?
Actually, don't do that. The concept, the title, and just the way it's approached.
Yeah. There's something about it there's not really sentimental about it. It's not self-pitying, but he really sounds like he was in a raw place when he made it. We're talking about it's inspiring. Yeah, there's something aspirational about it, even though his mama. And yeah, I mean, I've told him I think that that's probably vital because comes from such a heavy place of grief. But I've told him, man, if he had 10 of those, if he had 10 God is My Mamas on a record, I mean, a record of that kind of heft and that kind of power and that kind of pop, like, because the thing about that record too is it's so Oheni. He didn't switch up to do that record. It's just like optimal Oheni, like you know. Yeah. What do you think?
No, continue. Say what you got.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, like, what is it specifically that you think he did on that record that you were like, okay, and you might have already said it, but that you're like, okay, this is
a lot of boxes on a record that you shouldn't be checking that many boxes on, because even just with the title, it's almost like we're in hip hop, right? So he's got a record about his mother after he loses his mother. That's an emotional record. It should be emotional. It should be sad. But it's not necessarily sad, but there's sadness in it because he lost his mother. But it's also fucking extremely arrogant. Like, like God is my mother, nigga. God is my mother, nigga. Like, how you... And then it's like you got the sweet singing in the background, and then the beat, everything just like so many pieces to it. So it checks so many boxes with being what it is, where most people just be like, "Oh, I miss you, miss you, missing you, and day to day." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like
it's utterly hip hop in that way, right? Like, yeah, you'd be like, I miss you, and nigga you'd be like, I miss your mama too, nigga. Yeah, but if you like, yeah, God is my mama, you like, oh shit, this nigga's gonna knock me out. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. And I love that record as well. I love that record so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like talking about, in a way, it's like it opens a lot of doors in hip hop because Dear Mama's already been done, right? And like Kanye did Only One, which is another great song about losing someone, and DMX has a couple of great songs about missing people and losing people. But I feel like
friends, that's my shit. Anyway,
it almost like even reminds me of a little bit of YG. I know YG's last record, he recorded it before Nipsey died.
Yeah.
Dedicating it to Nipsey. But it was like, that's kind of like shows this other flavor of hip hop where it's like, yo, I'm going to mourn, or I'm going to feel how I don't need to do it the way you think I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think. Even, yeah, I even think, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's so cool. It's such an empowering in that way, and I love how you put it. It checks a lot of boxes that it shouldn't check, and that's what we're trying to do, right? In hip hop, we're trying to make songs all these boxes in the flyest, most unpredictable way that you could check them.
Yeah.
So that, and every time you do it, kind of opens a new door in somebody's brain. They're like, "Oh shit!
Yeah,
I didn't know you could look at it like that."
Yeah. That's I fuck with that record. That's a strong record. Probably gonna listen to that.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna check that out again. The shout out Oheni. Oheni
stood you up?
No, I said anything is possible.
Oh yeah, anything is possible. It freezes sometimes. That's why you be like,
yeah. Okay. Gosh, that was quick. Let me see if I can. How do I want to end this? What is? We hopefully have artists or aspiring artists maybe watching this thing. What is? I feel like you're somebody who's very thoughtful about making art and making music and making songs. What would you say? And this could relate back to the pieces that you chose, the Griselda piece and the O'Henny piece. What would you say is the last thing you learned making art that was like a revelation to you?
So say it one more time. You said the last thing I learned while making art?
About making art or while making art, that was a revelation to you, that you were like, that really was an epiphany to you. That's a big question. It's a broad question, but
it's definitely a difficult question. The last thing I learned making art, I don't. I would have to say for me, probably just I can make art, right? I think one thing I've learned about making art, at least for me, for the way I make art, is that nothing is as simple as I think it is. I'm always like, yo, I'm put together this project. I'm just going to throw it out there. And it never becomes that because the project won't leave that way. Like I'll start it and then I'll be like, yo, I got these records. I'm going to just put these out. And then I'm like, no, I got these records. Oh, now I could do it this way. So I've kind of learned that like, I don't really have as much control as I think because the spirit is going to have it come together the way it's supposed to come together. It's going to be this. And then it's like, no, it's going to be this. This is what it's gonna be. That's just the start of it. Every time I think, because I wish I could. I always wished I could make music like Lil Uzi and those guys, and that's nothing against them because they still make good music, in my opinion. But I just can't because every time it becomes more than that because now some different issue or some situation has brought me into a different space where now I got another record that's so much more fire that it elevates the rest of the songs. So now We the Gods is not just, oh, I got these records as a leftover from the other project, let's put them out. Now it's a brand new record because, yeah, some of these records work, but that one don't work no more. Take that one off. It don't match these ones. Now we're going to do this record. That's going to go there and that's going to go there. And now it's become a big project. So it's just basically like, if you're true to the art, it'll create itself. So I think,
yeah, that's really that really reminds me of just like a quality that you have that I don't think I give you enough credit for, which is like when you are creating, it seems like you're always facing upward, which is like it does seem like in a subliminal way you're receiving messages from somewhere up here and you're passing them through and you really are moved. You allow yourself to be moved by that, and you sort of are just like, yeah.
It's almost kind of crazy because shit will just happen and then out of nowhere, like for example, and I'm I'm working on a new project that I would like to have out by the summertime and then something for the fall, maybe even early next year. So I have the names for the projects and I know what I want them to be. But as the more I think about it, the more they start to come together. And I'm like, oh, I got these records. This is going to be tight, but it's going to be cool. It's going to be a good record. And then this COVID shit happens. And then next thing I know, I'm listening to all the stuff I got. And I'm like, all right, this stuff is cool. And then next thing I know, I got a whole new batch of beats. And normally when I get beats, people send me beats all the time. I just can't. This way I could do this way I could do this. And then I just get these perfect beats they're just perfect and they inspire things that.
Shout out the producer. Shout out.
I don't know how to say his last name correctly, but
okay.
The homie Scott. Let me make sure I got it. I got it here somewhere, or whatever, because I don't want to say his name wrong. Scott McKennell. That's his last name. I know his first name, but I know Scott McKennell. I met him at a So Far Sounds show. He was backing up this amazing singer. Her name was Afros, and they're from like Canada, from Toronto. And he sent me a beat before. We talked and we made something together before, but then during this thing, I saw him like online and he was just like playing some shit he was working on. I just hit him up again. I'm like, yo, man, we got to do some stuff. He was like, you know what? I'm going to send you. this is cool with what you do. I think like he was like, you right. Like I just wanted to try something, but I'm gonna send you some other stuff. But then he just started hitting me with stuff. And then the first two joints, I was like, all right, this is good. I was writing to them. And then I finally had a love song because my other producer, Ivan, is always like, yo, you don't have no love songs.
Ivan Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft. He's like, stop acting like you don't fall in love, brother. And then I got there, and I'm like, oh, I got something for this. And it was just such a unique way of talking about it. I was like, oh, this is fire. I love this. So boom. And then it was also like I always wanted to do something with Chocolate Brown, and I feel like I could fit him onto that record perfectly. Okay, that one. And then he was like, you know what, fuck it. He just started sending me stuff. Then he sent me another one, and then I just had this brilliant idea for that. Then another one, another brilliant, great idea for that. And then there's another one that I just haven't even, that I'm working
another one
on too. The project is not good. I think it is now. Because this shit never happens. Like, you know how hard it is to find a producer that I just fuck with. Like everything is hard. It's difficult. Like that's why I usually only work with Ivan, and then there's some other cast that I've been fucking with that I like. Like shout out Andy Ray. Shout out Red Eyes is giving me some really dope shit lately. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well that's a good note to end on. We're gonna keep an eye out for the upcoming Mandella Eskia projects once this COVID shit is up. But in the meantime, you could find Mandella Eskia on all your streaming platforms with Birdman Go Volume 1 and Volume 2, of which I'm co-executive producer of both. Yeah. And executive producer, you know, all
Still
the beats
Summer
is Still Summer song pack as well. All produced or mostly produced by Ivan Minecraft.
One is is Andy Ray. Andy Ray did Reach. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Shout out Andy Ray. But yeah, so this BGP has been Savage Brushstroke, this Mandella Eskia. And I'm gonna ask you, Mandela, I'll remind you again, but let's try to tag all the artists that we talked about in the comments for this on Facebook. I'm around, but so everybody can see that we shouted them out. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on. This was great.
No problem, son. Peace out. How I do this? I stop the can or leave the studio. All right.
I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna stop it. All right. Savage Brushstroke. We out. See you next time.